Next issue is an issue that I call, hey, boss, don't microchip me. So there have been proposals that employers, this starts in other states, are asking, it always starts out voluntary, for employees to have a microchip under their skin, like in their hand, let's say, so that you just wave it in front of a reader, and it's used for security or getting into a building or accessing certain areas. It's supposed to be really convenient. But of course, this idea horrifies a lot of people. So a bill has been introduced by Representative Breanne Thomas she represents Seattle and Vashon. She's a Democrat. Her bill is HB 2303, and it would, very simple, prohibit any employer from requesting, requiring, or coercing employees to have a microchip implanted under their skin. This is an obvious idea, if you ask me. And the problem with these proposals, and again, this has started in some other states, is it starts out voluntary, and then before you know it, the boss is saying, no, it's mandatory. The other part of coercion is they'll say something, the company, let's say, sometimes the government does this. Hey, we're not forcing you to do anything. We're just going to make your life really, really difficult until you comply. So these mandates, whether it's in the private sector or the public sector, are always suspicious when they start out supposedly voluntary. Usually there's some kind of suggested coercion behind it. So Representative Thomas is getting ahead of this problem. We commend her for it. And this should be a very popular bipartisan idea. It is certainly something that Washington Policy Center would support. And we'll see how that bill does. It also brings up this apocalyptic future of science fiction that you hear about, where people are being turned into robots or, advance and be mechanized. The more digital technology we have, the better. It's the first step to a brave new world. I know that this all sounds kind of over the top, but we have seen that ideas start out small and then they tend to grow. It reminded me from a policy point of view of the original thinking of the Social Security number that was enacted first in the 1930s. It only applied to people who were in the workforce, number one. And number two, the government only assigned you a Social Security number when you got your first job. So when you entered the workforce, you got a number. Well, here we are today in the modern world, and Social Security numbers are now issued mandatorily to every baby that's born in the United States. So it went from being a number for workers and for a social insurance program like Social Security to now it's our national identification number that applies to everybody. So I'm just explaining that that's the way these things grow, and we need to watch out. I'm not necessarily saying that Social Security numbers are bad. It's just that they start out small and then gradually expand, and by the way, become a mandate for everyone. So it's something to watch out for.
And it was an honor. We had a good speech. We got great reviews. I can't believe it. We got good reviews in that speech. Usually they say he's a horrible dictator type person. I'm a dictator. But sometimes you need a dictator.
And
the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 3 and 4. Shabbat Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honor to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down. Peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. It's a brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, lowly and be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and today is the 24th of February, all right, 2026, and the so-called president, which is the king of Babylon, all right, DJ Trump, aka Nero, is going to be giving a State of the Union address, all right, Lord willing, this evening. Okay, so we're going to be watching attentively because I believe they said that the main focus, all right, the main focal point, I should say, will be immigration. All right, they said immigration is expected to be the main focus. And basically, he's going to be defending his policies and so on and so forth. So we're going to be paying attention to see what happens. And I believe it's at 9 p.m. all right, Eastern. So we'll be watching. But with that being said, through the Spirit, I think a couple of days ago, there was some information that came out that Trump had signed an executive order declaring that only the president and the attorney general can interpret U.S. law for executive branch. Okay. So I found that to be very interesting with the timing. All right. With the timing. So knowing the times that we're in, all right, what we're expecting in terms of prophecy, especially here in America, Babylon the Great, all right, we should be looking forward to, all right, these kinds of things. For example, right here, it says, why does the U.S. government need or have 30,000 guillotines and over 600 million rounds of hollow point bullets? Okay. And this might sound crazy, but these are things that's on record as a preparation for something to happen here in America. Okay. There's been plans on the books prior to the 1980s, okay, of some form of continuity of government in the case or in the scenario of civil unrest or some type of civilian upheaval, whatever form it may take. They have plans to quell that, and through that plans to quell that, they will bring in a martial law / police state, okay, where you have a lot of people who are going to be rounded up, all right, arrested, rounded up, and sent into these so-called FEMA camps. So for years, starting from my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, we've been warning of these things coming to pass. And the only thing people said, for the most part, was, y'all are conspiracy theorists. So when you look at 2025, now you're looking at 2026, all the things that's been happening that the men of the Lord been telling you about for years, all playing out as we've been saying. Now you got to understand that the most horrific parts that we described to you is now about to commence. Okay, the parts where we were saying it in the times where the things didn't seem too realistic to you, right? Those kind of things that we're giving you, we're using even movie references. It'd be like, oh, y'all, what they say? Y'all, movie something. They use it as a means of ridicule. You know what I'm saying? That the examples that the Lord had the Spirit use as examples to paint out the perfect picture of the future for you, people looked at it and ridiculed it. But now it's time to pay. Okay? And it seems like so far away, them times where we used to go into all these things that were deemed as conspiracy theories. And now we're living in a time where those things that we're warning about is about to play out. Okay? And from time to time over the years, we brought out this information, but right now it's more prevalent than ever before. Like I said, we're going to be closely watching and listening to DJ Trump and his State of the Union address. But we're going to get ahead of the curve real quick and see, all right, what are certain possible things that could come out of this? All right, watching what's going on in Mexico and all that. Let's see. Okay, because all it takes, because I think the White House press secretary came out and said that basically if these cartels harm any Americans, it's going to be held to pay pretty much. And right away I said, oh yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, who's to say, right? If they go and hit the American embassy over there, see, you go and hit some delegates. Now we got, you see, exactly, just like that, things could just go south, west, north, up, east, west. It just, I don't know. Things could just go spark up out of nowhere. If they hit that embassy, it's over with. So let's just see. All right, let's just see. What excuse are they going to use to spark things up some more? Let's just see. Okay. It says U.S. government. All right, let me just get into this. It says there are over 800 prison camps in the United States, all fully operational and ready to receive prisoners. They are all staffed and even surrounded by full-time guards, but they are all empty. These camps are to be operated by FEMA should martial law need to be implemented in the United States, and all it would take is a presidential signature on a proclamation and the Attorney General's signature on a warrant to which a list of names is attached. Ask yourself if you really want to be on the list. And remember, the list for the most part is going to be going after political and religious dissidents. Okay, those are the ones that they're coming after. Mostly religious, because the scriptures are much more impactful than the political part. All right, so they the whole spiritual faith and all that stuff, they want to quell that, and they have documents on that. They have plans on how they're going to do the arrests, okay, who they're going to be going after, when they're going to be doing it, okay, and in what fashion, right? Some of us, they said religious leaders are going to be taken out first. Okay, so they're going to come after religious leaders and so on and so forth. You're going to have political, people like governors and mayors to set the example and to set the tone, right? And then they might not per se truly arrest them. They could just take them to their bunker or something and then just play this AI humanoid robot shit and, deceive the people into thinking that these people are being arrested. Again, it's all about the reaction, but it sets the precedent. Okay. And nowadays, things that you see on TV are all staged. They don't show you no real shit no more. It's AI and it's all staged. So if you see it, it's meant for you to see it. Okay. They're able to deceive, all right, in a very crazy subtle manner. But it says the Rex 84 program was established on the reasoning that if a mass exodus of illegal aliens crossed the Mexican-U.S. border, they would be quickly rounded up and detained in detention centers by FEMA. Okay, so let's pause right there for a second. We've heard the phrase illegal aliens over the past, I just say the past 5 years, okay, because we're in 2026 now. All right, so the past 5 years since Biden came in and Trump taken over, that phrase illegal aliens has been, all right, the talk of politics. That whole concept of immigration, building the wall, people flowing in and they're all illegals and blah, 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 blah. The main reason why they even put ICE out there was to go after so-called illegals and criminals and gang members and all that. So that's the premise in which this whole thing started. But it was just a ploy to bring in the next step that we've been warning about. Okay? Because people accepted the whole ICE thing. Oh, if you're going after criminals and gang members and people who are dangerous, right? Like they pitched it, like Christy Noam would be saying, right? Then people accept it. Yeah, you're going to keep our city safe. Of course. Who wouldn't want that? But then they come in and they're coming after you people. You're like, wait a minute. We're not the criminals here. What are we doing? And that's how it starts. Okay? So ICE was just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. All right? There's more to come. There's a whole lot more to come. It says, Rex 84 allowed many military bases to be closed down and to be turned into prisons. Operation Cable Splicer and Garden Plot are the two sub-programs which will be implemented once the Rex 84 program is initiated for its proper purpose. Remember, again, these are documentation. This is plans. This is what they have on the books. This is not conspiracy theories. And a lot of people who look at our videos for entertainment, a lot of you are going to find yourselves in these places that we're describing here. Okay? The Lord is not going to spare you just because you coming out here and you watching videos, but you're not really believing. You're just here to watch for entertainment. You're going to find yourself in these places, man. This is only for the elect. Hey, some of the elect, we're going to find ourselves in some of these places, but that's where, as we read the scripture in the book of 2nd Ezra, then shall they be known who are my chosen. Some of us are going to be cast out of our houses and arrested and so on and so forth. We're going to find ourselves in some of these places, right? But within those times, the Lord is going to deliver his elect. You see, because our faith is going to be so strong. It's only the Lord who's going to have to get us out of there in a miraculous way. You see, then shall they be known who are my chosen, man. All right. When the times get tough, when everyone is getting pressed, then shall they be known who are my chosen. All right. So it says here, Garden Plot is a program to control the population. Cable Splicer is a program for an orderly takeover of the state and local governments by the federal government. All right. By the federal government. By the federal government. Okay. FEMA is the executive arm of the coming police state and thus will heap up all operations or head up all operations. The presidential executive orders already listed on the Federal Register also are part of the legal framework for this operation. Legal, going into law, right? Going into law. So now let's read something real quick. Remember, this is about the federal government taking over, right? Let's read. It says, Trump signs order declaring only president and AG, which is Attorney General, can interpret U.S. law for executive branch. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Tuesday stating that only the president and the Attorney General shall provide authoritative interpretations of the law for the executive branch. Okay? So no more checks and balances, pretty much is what he's saying. In other words, he's leaning into totalitarianism. But really, if you think, people say, fascism, which is true, but we're at the point where he's pretty much like setting up the stage to yield to the AI government, like technocrats and stuff. He's just the guy to set it up for them. Like, remember he made a joke about having 6G. He's like, he's the one who brought in 5G, and now we're on 6G, right? He said, well, that's just going to give us the ability to look under people's skins. That was he's telling you straight up, how are they going to do that? How are they going to do that? It starts with the C-hip. Okay, that's where it starts, because with that C-hip underneath the skin, how they going to look? It gives up all that data that they're looking for. Okay, and the FDA has already approved for them to use a microchip for medical purposes. They have it on the books right now as we speak. Okay, so everything is being set in stone, ready to launch. So we're going to be listening closely. Again, like I said, all right, we are in 2026, America's 250th year. They got to do something. They have to do something because they're big with numerology. Okay, and they know that they have but a short time. All the prophecies are lining up. This C-hip is right around the corner, man. We just waiting for that day. Waiting for that day, man. Waiting for that day. All right. It says the order covers all federal employees and agencies, including independent agencies operating under the executive branch of the U.S. government. Historically, independent agencies exist outside the executive branch and are largely free of presidential control. It's just like, that's crazy. Like a bureaucracy, for real. All right. It says the Trump administration stated the purpose of the order was to ensure, right, that all federal agencies are accountable to the American people. The American people. That's an interesting phrase. The American people. As required by the Constitution. All of a sudden. You see how oxymoronic this is? The one person who goes against the Constitution then turns around and says that we're doing something. I'm going against the Constitution to make sure that I'm requiring everybody to follow the Constitution. How does that make sense? Right? Forget about checks and balances, right? Forget about your people's freedom of speech, right? Freedom of press, okay? To have a warrant before any police or military could come into your home. You can't do that without a warrant. Okay, signed by a judge to be able to come in there, for whatever reason. But hey, he's saying, forget about all that. We're looking for safety. We want to keep people safe, right? Keep them accountable. Nobody's keeping him accountable. See, there are no more wise men in Teeman. It says here, where do we stop at? There you go. It says, according to the administration, Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution vests this power in the president. They pointed to Article 2, Clause 1, which states executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America to support this interpretation. However, Article 2 does not expressly state that the president or any other person in the executive branch has the power to interpret laws, right? That's for the judicial branch. Okay. It says the article states that the president is required to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. And that's what he swore. But remember, he didn't swear on the Bible this time, right? To faithfully and execute my duties, blah, blah, blah. He didn't swear on the Bible this time. Jurisdiction to interpret laws and determine constitutionality belongs to the judicial branch, exactly, the Supreme Court and so on and so forth. Branch under Article 3. The framers of the Constitution designed the separation of duties to prevent any single branch of government from becoming too powerful. Under the order, all agencies will be required to submit to performance standards and management objectives. Interesting. Established by the Office of Management and Budget and report periodically to the President. Only the Federal Reserve System, that's crazy, and the Federal Open Market Committee are exempted. Now you gotta ask yourself why. Okay, why? The Federal Reserve System. See? So the president is already lining up his ability to be able to go ahead and just openly just declare something, and boom, it's right. It has to be done. Remember, in a state of a national emergency, once he declares that, okay, it takes about 6 months before Congress can even look at what's going on. Okay, so within that 6 months, a lot of things could be established, right? Him being able to sign an executive order, which is really not a law, it's just an executive request, but he signs an executive order now demanding that all states, okay, cannot veto against anything AI related for the next 10 years. See, that's a problem. Ultimately, that's centralization of power. Meanwhile, they're telling people about this crypto stuff and it's going to decentralize. No, they're centralizing everything. You see, because states have different laws. Different states have different laws because you have different demographics and so on and so forth. Right? When you go down south compared to out west, you have different things. See, some states might be pro something, some states might be against something. But they want to do away with all those independences and bring everyone under one umbrella through this AI governance. See, no more resistance. You see, and he did say that. Trump said that. So that should keep, something in mind that once they declare something, it's going to be all throughout all states. They're not going to be no more, well, this governor is pushing back because they're going to shut all that down. All that down. Okay. It says here, it says the camps all have railroad facilities as well as roads leading to and from the detention facilities. Many also have airport nearby. Okay. The majority of the camps can house a population of 20,000 prisoners. And was it last month? They said that ICE was trying to buy up all these big ass Walmarts and different facilities. You see what I'm saying? Warehouses is what they called it. Right? And I believe they said Walmart was complying to give them about, was it 250 stores or some shit? My numbers may be wrong, but they were like, yeah, I said, oh, wow, very interesting how Walmart is the one to step in. It's like it's almost lined up perfectly. It's almost like they were just built specifically for this time. Right? They used it as a supermarket, right? But that was a Trojan horse. Crazy work. All right. So continuing, it says, currently the largest of these facilities is just outside of Fairbanks, Alaska. The Alaskan facility is a massive mental health facility and can hold approximately 2 million people. Now let's review the justification for any actions taken. Executive orders associated with FEMA that would suspend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These executive orders have been on record for nearly 30 years and could be enacted by the stroke of a presidential pen. See? So when the president starts saying, he's going to be the only one to interpret law, or the attorney general, he's leading to something. Okay, he's leaning towards something. All right. And of course, over years, we've gone over the executive orders, but I'll probably do a separate lesson on those executive orders specifically. All right, because that's all, again, biblical prophecy playing out. 2nd Ezra. Okay, 2nd Ezra 16 playing out. Okay, 2nd Ezra 16 playing out, man. All right. So yeah, man, we're living in those times. We're living in those days. We keep saying it. We keep saying it. We keep saying it. But for those who can't see it, they're just not meant to see it. Okay, because you got people in the world who are seeing these things and they're preparing. Like, they're preparing way crazier than you would think. You'd be like, yo, time out. What do you know that nobody else knows? You see, but our preparation is different because it's the preparation that is based on faith for the Lord to deliver us in the time that we're coming in. Okay, so it's already booked. Like, if you have the elect, you're good. You're good. You see, we're just striving to make our calling and election sure. All right. There's a book of Revelation chapter 3 verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, so he says, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. All right, so that's like that. The Lord is telling you, I'm right there. So keep going. Okay, don't slow down. Oh, you know, this and that. Nah, listen, the things that's going on is meant to go on this way. You already know that. So your mindset should be completely different from how these other people are reacting to these things. All right, this is prophecy. Okay, and we were warning of these days to come. All right, so we're excited, man. All right, we are excited. Like, for real. Like, yo, today I woke up and I was like, damn, like, we got some sun, you know? And the day was just smooth. You know, it's a Sabbath, so it was just chill. I was just like, damn, even though I had to work, I was just praising the Lord, you know, thanking the Lord, because you just feel different. You know, spring is coming. It's just like a different energy that you're feeling, you know? And that's a good thing, because you're looking at the lens of prophecy and you're like, yo, man, we don't got much left here. We seriously don't got much left here, man. You know? So, man, hey, this is a book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. So that's where you come in with these FEMA camps. Okay, when people on the red list, the blue list, okay, they got zones, right? They got different zones, man. You know, they got zones like, yo, you're gonna be in the red zone, the blue zone, the green zone. You know, you're gonna be we're gonna send you on a one-way turnstile. You're not coming back. You see? So yeah, man. Shit is about to get crazy soon. All right, but again, let's read. It says, and that they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. When they start offering these, oh, come here in this shelter and you got to follow these guidelines to do this. Listen, every compliance that you do thinking that is going to set you free will only get you one step closer to straight up dependence and really a prison that you can't get out of. Right? Literally. Okay. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Right? Those who are known as who? The Hebrew Israelites. Okay. Those that fear the Lord in modern day terms is the Hebrew Israelites, because everybody else is a whole bunch of clowns, man. All these pagan Christians popping out the woodwork. Man, look, Esau just going to use them as target practice, really. All right, to come after the Hebrew Israelites, starting from the true apostles of the true men of the Lord, the true men of the Lord, starting from my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, man, straight up. All right, these people don't know, man. They don't know, but listen, they about to find out. All right, oh man, it says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So that insurrection is coming. Okay, it's a straight up persecution. They're not letting go. All right, they're getting something ready in the back. Trust me, man. Trust and believe. They've had things on the docket for years, and they're just gonna start unraveling. Okay, because they know that they have but a short time, and we're in their way. Okay. It says, for there shall be. It says they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And it's going to start through who? The cruel Lord. All right, he sets the tempo. He's going to set the tone. Okay, and everybody else is just going. It's just going to be. I'm telling you, and it's going to be easy for Americans to be justified in bringing that heat upon them, man. Everyone is divided. All right, mad people are divided now. I was talking to this guy today, and he's an older guy, and he was telling me about the snow and how it's messed up a lot of things, and you got a lot of these older people that live by themselves, you know, and some of them can't even walk. They're in these wheelchairs and stuff. but he can't even go out. And there used to be a time where situations like that, you have people come in to help. You know what I'm saying? Like you have these younger guys that'll be in the area. They'll just get their snow plows and, their shovels, and they start, cleaning the whole place out. The whole entire community. Just clean up the whole entire thing. We all come out together. Boom, we start working. And then within a few hours, everyone, hey, you could drive out your car and so on and so forth. Nowadays, nobody cares. They don't care about the young, the old. They don't care. Nobody cares, man. If something is happening to you, you better know how to fight your way out of it, because somebody will just look at you, all right, and keep walking. Like they'll see you, something's happening to you, and they'll just look at you like it's like, to them, it's like an awkward thing. Like, oh my God, something is happening to this person. Let me move away from them. People are just weird, man. These Babylonians, they're strange, they're crazy, and they're weird. I tell you, this is a mental asylum, man. See, so if something's happening to you and you need help, hey, if the Lord don't got an angel somewhere, or he don't put the spirit of somebody to help you out, shit, But yeah, man, just keep your head on the swivel, because these are the times that we're in. The days are evil. For real, for real. For real, for real. The horror stories that we're going to be hearing all throughout, from the spring through the summer, when it start getting hot and things really start picking up. Oh, man. Yeah. The frustration is really setting in. It says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay? It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. That's where the FEMA troops come in. The mass arrests. Okay? It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. All right? As the gold in the fire, man. Okay? That's precious. That's what that means. That's precious. You're tried in the gold in the fire. That's in the fire. Yeah, that's precious, man. You've been purified. Okay? Isaiah 13 and 12. The man will make Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Let me read that. Let me get that real quick. All right, we have something great coming, man. All this bitterness, hey, it comes with the sweet at the end. You really get to enjoy it at the end. You'd be like, yo, I worked hard for this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a different, there's a book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. It says, and I'll make a man more precious than fine gold. Okay, that's that going through that trial, that purifying thing that we're going through is what's going to make us fine gold. It says, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. That's the finest of the fine. When you get compared to that, that's the finest of the fine. The Lord says he's going to make us even greater than that. Okay? The things that makes men travel with armadas to go to that land, because that gold over there is unmatched. The Lord says he's going to make us even greater. You're going to have people looking for us from different continents. That's how precious the men of the Lord are. Why? Because of the word that went out. Man, listen, man. This is a heavy work, a great work. We're just ordinary men, but the work that we do, the words we speak, is the words of the Heavenly Father himself, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And he has spoken, and therefore everyone is going to hear. Okay? Get this last precept. There's a book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. You can't deny that we're at the end. And anyone who denies that is a liar, is going to be destroyed. I'm ended off there, Lord willing, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, the water Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.